Hello everyone and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah here. We're holding in Mishnah Berurah Chelik Vav. We are continuing to learn Hilchas Tainus. We'll be learning today Mirz Hashem Daf Mem Gimel Amid Beis. We pick up on Mem Gimel Amid Aleph near the bottom in Siman Tov Kuf Samach Ches. We had begun to learn Sif Aleph. We broke off in the middle of the Mishnah Berurah, but let's just start again from the beginning of the Mechaber. We're not going to do the Mishnah Berurah that we did already, but let me read again from the beginning of the Mechaber so that we can capture the context of what we're speaking about. So the Mechaber said over here in Sif Aleph, Neder lehisanois Yomi zeh. If somebody made a neder to fast on a specific day. So let's say somebody said, I'm going to fast Monday next week. So he has now made a neder to fast Monday next week. When Sunday comes around, he's going to have to be Makabel Tainus by Mincha. Sunday by Mincha, he's going to say, Hareini b'Tainus l'machar. I have a fast day tomorrow. Now, what happened? He made his Kabbalas Tainus on Sunday. He began to fast on Monday. And then, v'shachach v'achal. And then, he forgot that he's in the middle of a fast day. And he ate. So now he broke his fast. In that case, said the Mechaber, Mashlim Tanisoi, he has to continue his tainus. He has to keep on fasting, even though he ate, doesn't matter. He made a neder not to eat on that specific Monday. He has to be mekayim that neder. It's true that inadvertently he ate, so to speak, he broke his fast, but it doesn't matter. He's still bound by his neder to fast on that day. Not only that, this person doesn't have the option of saying, oh, whoops, I broke my fast. You know what? I'll fast on a different day in order to make up for the fact that I was supposed to fast today. No, there's no way to make it up. Your neder was that you're going to fast on this specific day. You can't make that up by fasting next week. So if you made a neder to fast on a specific day, you have to fast on that day. And even if you inadvertently broke your fast, you have to complete the fast. Continues the Mechaber, V'hu hadinim haya tainus chaloim. The same halacha would be true if the reason he's fasting is for a tainus chaloim. He had a dream and he wants to fast to be mevatel the tainus. He has to fast on that day. Or let's say that day was a tainus tzibur. It was asar b'tevish, shival sabatamas, Tisha B'av, some gedalia. So you can't say, I broke my fast, so now I can eat the rest of the day, and I'll make it up a different day. No, today is Shiva B'Tammuz. You're not allowed to eat on Shiva B'Tammuz. So that's the first case that the Mechaber gave us over here. Well, let's continue. Or it's a day where on that specific day he always fasts. Maybe he has yard site for his father or for his Rebbe Muvik. So that's the first case that the Mechaber gives us. Again, the first case of the Mechaber over here is where a person is fasting on a specific day. So his neder, his vow to fast, is tied to a specific day. If it's tied to a specific day and you inadvertently break your fast, you have to pick up your fast again and you have to refrain from eating for the rest of the day. And you can't make this up on another day. Now, the Mechaber contrasts this to another case. Says the Mechaber, Aval, however, Im nadar lehisanois yom echad oy shnei yomim. Let's say somebody makes a neder to have a tainus, but he does not tie the neder to a specific day. He doesn't say, I'm going to fast Monday. I'm going to fast tomorrow. I'm going to fast on the third day of next month. He doesn't tie it to a specific day. He just makes a neder, I'm going to fast 1 or 2 days. Whenever I get around to it, whenever I decide, I'm going to fast 1 or 2 days. But if somebody made a neder to fast 1 or 2 unspecified days, and now one day he decides, I know I owe 2 days of tanesim. Maybe I'll make up one of them tomorrow. I'll fast tomorrow. So let's say it's Sunday. And he decides, you know what? One of the tanesim that I owe, I'm going to fast tomorrow on Monday. So now, Sunday by Mincha, he's going to say, Hareini b'Tainus l'machar. Why? Why do I have a tainus tomorrow? Because 3 months ago I made a neder, and I said that at some point I'm going to fast 1 or 2 days, and I want one of those days to be tomorrow. Now he's makabel tainus on Sunday, and then Monday he inadvertently eats. He breaks his fast. So says the Mechaber, if somebody made a neder to fast 1 or 2 unspecified days, and then when he begins his tainus, he forgets that he's supposed to be fasting, and he eats at least a kezayis of food, then says the Mechaber, ibei ta'anisai, he has destroyed his tainus. He broke his fast, and now he's allowed to eat. He broke his fast, so there's no point in him fasting for the rest of the day. Now he could go ahead and he could eat the rest of the day. And he has to make up the tainus on a different day. So what happened over here? What happened over here was this fellow made a neder to fast 1 or 2 unspecified days. He decided that he's going to be mekayim 1 day of his neder tomorrow on Monday. On Sunday, he was makabel tainus. He said, "Areini b'tainus l'machar." Now on Monday, inadvertently, he started to eat. So now he comes to the Rav and he asks the Rav a shaila, what do? I broke my fast by accident. Well, in this case, the reason that you were fasting is not tied specifically to this day. You could be mekayim your neder to fast 1 or 2 unspecified days on any day that you want. So there's no great value to this day. Your neder was not tied to this day. So all right, you broke your fast. All right, ibei tanisai, eat the rest of the day, no problem. But you're going to have to be mekayim your neder on a different day. On a different day, you're going to have to undertake to fast. Says the Mishnah Berurah, and this gets a little bit complex. Says the Mishnah Berurah, back on Mem Gimel Amud Aleph, in Ois Katan Daled. Ukeshehischel lehisanos, when he started to fast on that day that he wanted to be mekayim one of the days of his neder, he started to fast, and then accidentally he ate. So the halacha, says the Mechaber, is he could eat the rest of the day, and he has to make it up a different day. Says the Mishnah Berurah, hatam, the reason for this is, kevan shebetchilas kabbalas hatainus, since when he first made his neder to fast, layicheid al oisa yom dafka, he didn't tie his neder to this specific day. He just said, I'm going to fast 1 day. Al kain, therefore, av she'esmal kibel al atzbay b'mincha, even though yesterday he went ahead and he made a kabbalas hatainus, va'amar, and he said, hareini b'tainus lamachar, I'm going to fast tomorrow. Yachal lotzais yidei chavasai b'masha yashliim yom acher. He could still make it up by fasting a different day. Now, this is a very deep Mishnah Berurah, what the Mishnah Berurah is saying here. You see, the Mishnah Berurah is stuck with a little bit of a puzzle. The logic that I gave to you is like this. The 2 different cases that the Mechaber gives you. In case number 1, the Mechaber gave you a person made a neder to fast on a specific day. All right, if a person makes a neder to fast on a specific day, then even if he accidentally breaks his fast on that specific day, he must fast the rest of the day, because his neder to fast is tied to that day. And he can't make it up by fasting a different day. No, the neder wasn't to fast any stam day. The neder was to fast that day. So in that case, the person has no choice. He has to refrain from eating the rest of the day. But now in the second case of the Mechaber, this person made a stam neder. This person made a neder and he says, I'm going to fast 1 or 2 days. He didn't specify which day he's going to fast. In that case, says the Mechaber, well then, if you accidentally ate on the day that you chose to be mekayim your neder, no biggie. So it turns out you didn't fast on that day, keep on eating on that day, and you'll be mekayim your neder on a different day. No problem. Now that logic sounds very nice, but the problem that the Mishnah Berurah brings to the table over here in Ois Katan Daled is the Chavetz Chaim is saying, wait a second, not so fast. If the person decided that he was going to be mekayim his neder on Monday, okay, so he made a neder 6 months ago, I'm going to fast 1 day. Now, on Sunday, he decides, I know I owe a tainus, I'm going to fast tomorrow. What does he have to do? He has to be makabel tainus by mincha. And what is he going to say when he's makabel tainis by mincha? He's going to say, Hareini b'tainis lamachar. I'm fasting tomorrow. Well, in that case, wonders the Chavetz Chaim, doesn't that constitute a kabbalas hatainis where he is now tying his tainis to a specific day? It's true that originally when he made his neder, he didn't tie it to a specific day. Originally, when he made his neder, he said, I'm gonna fast 1 or 2 unspecified days. But now on Sunday afternoon by mincha, when he decided that he's going to be mekayim his neder tomorrow, he says, Hareini b'tainis lamachar. I'm going to have a tainis tomorrow. So doesn't that constitute tying the tainis to tomorrow? And if that's true, then tomorrow's tainis should be like the first case of the makaber. If he accidentally breaks his fast, we should say, well, you still can't eat. After all, yesterday you said, Hareini b'tainis lamachar. So today is now a specified tainis day. So the Mishnah Berurah here, Nice Cut and Daled, explains, and he gets this from a rush. If you look in the Sharatzir, Nice Cut and Gimel, he says Mevur b'rush. The Chavetz Chaim says over here, no. The Kabbalah's tainis that he made on Sunday afternoon, when he said Hareini b'tainis lamachar, that Kabbalah's tainis is subjugated to the original neder that he made 6 months ago. And if you look at the rush, I believe this is what the rush is saying. I read the rush quickly. I didn't delve into the words of the rush, but from a quick reading of the rush, this is the way I understand what the rush is saying. The rush is saying like this: when a person makes a neder and he says, I'm going to fast 1 or 2 unspecified days, and then he decides on some Sunday that he's going to fast tomorrow on Monday to be mekayim his neder of 6 months ago, when he says Hareini b'tainis lamachar, that kabbalas hatainis is subjugated to the original neder. What he's doing is he's not tying himself to a specific tainis of tomorrow. What he's doing is he's saying, I am being mekabel tainis for tomorrow in order to fulfill my neder of 6 months ago. And my neder of 6 months ago was to fast on some unspecified day. So my Kabbalah's tainis now on Sunday afternoon is not intended to specify tomorrow that I must fast tomorrow. No, my Kabbalah's tainis now on Sunday afternoon is to designate tomorrow as the unspecified day that I'm going to fast. But it still retains its status as an unspecified tainis. So if I break my tainis inadvertently, ibei tanisai, I break my tainis for that day, and now I can make up my neder of 6 months ago on a different day. But I can eat the rest of this day. I hope that's clear. Okay. Now says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and hay. So the Mechaber said, what happened? This person undertook the fast, and then the Mechaber said, Shachach, he forgot that he was supposed to be fasting. Va'achal kezayis, and he ate the minimum volume of a kezayis. Says the Mishnah Berurah, aval pachos bi kezayis, but if he ate less than a kezayis, after lechatchila also lechal afila mashu, even though certainly lechatchila, if you have a fast day, you're not allowed to eat even a tiny amount, mikamakim, nevertheless, b'di'evet, in a case of b'di'evet, where the person inadvertently ate something, mikamakim b'di'evet, misane, he has to keep on fasting, umashlim, and he should complete the fast through Tetzei Sakechavim, vein tzarech yom acher, and he doesn't have to make up the fast with a different day, because he ate less than a kezayis. Eating less than a kezayis doesn't constitute breaking the fast. V'asar lechal hayom yoser, and if he ate less than a kezayis, he's not allowed to eat the rest of the day. Kevin shekiblei b'tainis meyesmo, since he was makabel tainis yesterday. V'yoser mizeh, even more than that, says the Chavetz Chaim. Da'afilu ochal kezayis, even if the person did eat a kezayis, rak shaloi acholoi b'pam achas, but he didn't eat the kezayis in one act of eating. V'shah ben taim yoser me'achilas pras, so he ate a half a kezayis, and then he waited more than a kedei achilas pras, more than the time it takes to eat a half of a loaf. So in our terms, that's somewhere between 3 and 9 minutes. So he He ate a half a kazayas and then he waited 3 to 9 minutes and he ate another half a kazayas later. Limud starif. Those 2 half kazasim do not join to make an achil of a kazayas, and he did not break his fast. V'dina kepachas b'kazayas. The halach is the same as if he ate less than a kazayas. She'enem ma'abed tanisai bazeh, that this does not constitute him breaking his fast. Ule'inyan shtia, when it comes to drinking, hashir, the minimum measurement is im shasa malay lugmav, if he drank a cheekful. Hapachas mizeh, less than that, loy mikri shtia, does not constitute an act of drinking b'di'evid. Umashlim tanisai, he didn't break his fast, so he has to complete his tainus. Ve'ein sarach lehisanis yom acher, and he doesn't have to fast a different day. Ois katan vav, so in this case, where the person made an unspecified tainus, and now he accidentally broke his fast, so then the mechaber said he's allowed to eat, and v'chayiv lotzum, and he has to fast on a different day. Let's say somebody was mekabel on himself to fast 2 days in a row, and he inadvertently he forgot and he ate on the intervening night. He would have to fast 2 different days. He has to fast a different day to make up for this tainus. Shalem, he has to fast a complete other day. In other words, don't think that if you wanted to be mekayim your neder on Monday, and you fasted on Monday until 6 p.m., and then accidentally you forgot and broke your tainus, maybe you'd say, okay, I already fasted to 6 p.m., there was only 3 hours left to the day, so maybe I have to make up a 3-hour tainus. No, you have to make up another complete day of tainus. But the rest of this day, where you accidentally broke your fast, the rest of the day you could eat. That fast is over. Now we have an interesting Ramah with a very, very interesting Mishnah Berurah. Says the Ramah, V'yesh machmirin. There are those that are machmir, that are those who rule stringently, and they say, Da'afilu ben nadar lehis anois yom zeh. Even in the mechaber's first case, where somebody made a neder to fast on a specific day. So the first case of the mechaber again was where somebody said, I am going to fast on next week, Monday. So now he designated that day as a specific day of a tainus. In that case, the mechaber said, if you inadvertently ate on that day, you're not allowed to eat the rest of the day. You have to continue your fast because you specified, you tied your neder to that day. And you don't make it up on a different day. The mechaber said you don't make it up on a different day because you can't make it up on a different day. How could you? You tied your neder to that specific day. You can't make it up by a different day. Says the Ramah, Yesh machmirin. There are those who are machmir in that case. Da'afilu ben nadar lehisanos yom zeh. And even in the case where somebody tied his neder to a specific day, the chayiv lahashlim. The chayiv lahashlim, where the mechaber said, and the Ramah agrees, that you must continue fasting through to Tzesek Echavim, Mikamakim, nevertheless, Bachmirim lehisanos yom acher. They're machmir to fast another complete day to make up for this day of a tainus. Very, very strange. What's the logic of that? The logic that we've been saying until now is that you can't possibly make it up. You tied your neder to a specific day. So how could you make it up by fasting a different day? The answer lies here in the Mishnah Berurah, where the Mishnah Berurah is going to tell us that the Ramah is not to be understood is simply how it's written. The Ramah is addressing a very specific case. Let's take a look here in the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah is katan ches. Da'afilu ben nadar lehisanos yom zeh. Even in the mechaber's first case, where you tied your tainus to a specific day, where the mechaber said if you broke your fast, you have to continue fasting and you cannot make it up by a different day, still the Ramah says there are those who are machmir to fast on another day. What's the logic of that? Ayin bebeis meir. The Chavetz Chaim sends us to the beis meir. Shemasik, who concludes that the Ramah is addressing one specific case. The dafka ba'omer hareini b'tainis lamachar. This case, the case that the way I described the mechaber's first case to you was that a person 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, or a week ago, made a neder, and he said, I'm going to fast next week Monday. So he tied his neder to next week Monday. Now on Sunday afternoon, he was makabel tainus, and he said, Areini b'tainus lamachar. Then on Monday he started fasting. He forgot and he broke his fast. In that case, said the mechaber, you have to continue fasting because there's no option. You can't make it up by fasting a different day because the tainus was tied to this day. Says the Mishnah Berurah, this Ramah, who says that there are those that would be machmir and say that you have to fast another day to make up for your broken tainus, that Ramah is addressing a case not where a week ago you said, I'm going to fast next week Monday. In that case, the Ramah would agree with the mechaber. In that case, everybody would agree that there's no point trying to make up that tainus on a different day. How could you make up the tainus on a different day? The neder was tied to that day. That's not the case where the Ramah is bringing down that there's a yesh machmirin. The case of the yesh machmirin is the only kabbalas tainus that there was on some Sunday or some Monday or some Tuesday by mincha, a person got into his head that he wants to fast tomorrow. And he made a kabbalas tainus. He said, Areini b'tainus lamachar. There was no neder a week ago that I'm going to fast tomorrow. No. All there was Sunday afternoon by mincha, somebody said, Hareini b'tainus lamachar. Now, what's the difference between those two cases? There's a very big difference. The difference is, in the first case, the mechaber's case, where somebody said, I'm going to fast next week Monday. Then on next Sunday, he said, Hareini b'tainus lamachar. There are two verbal declarations of making a tainus. There's one neder, there's an original neder, where he said, I'm going to fast next week Monday. Then there's a kabbalas tainus on Sunday, where he says, Hareini b'tainus lamachar. I have a tainus tomorrow. In that case, the statement of Hareini b'tainus lamachar is subjugated to the original statement of, I'm making a neder to fast next week Monday. In that case, everybody agrees that there's no point in trying to make up that tainus on a different day, because it's very clear that your neder was tied to that specific day, because that's what your original neder was, and your original neder is what takes precedence. However, in the case where the Ramah says that there's a yesh machmirin, there was no original neder. All there was a kabbalas tainus on Sunday afternoon, Hareini b'tainus lamachar. Now, in that case, there's a machlokes rishonim. How do we treat that declaration, Hareini b'tainus lamachar? When somebody says Hareini b'tainus lamachar, what's his das? What's his intent? Is his intent that I want to tie my neder specifically to tomorrow? After all, that's what the words mean. The words mean Hareini b'tainus lamachar. I am in a tainus tomorrow. So a simple literal translation of the words seems to tell us that he's tying the tainus to tomorrow. If that's true, then there's no point in making up the fast by fasting a different day. You can't make it up. You tied your neder, you tied your kabbalas tainus to tomorrow. Or other Rishonim say, maybe no. When do we say that it's a specific day tainus? That's only if there's an original neder to refer back to. If there's an original neder to refer back to where somebody said, I'm going to fast next week Monday, then the kabbalas tainus on the day before is referencing back to the original neder, and that makes tomorrow a specific day tainus. But if there is no original neder to refer back to, if all there is the statement, Hareini b'tainus lamachar, then the person's intent is not, I bedafka want to fast tomorrow. No, this person decided by mincha on Sunday that he wants to fast one day. Once he made the decision that he wants to fast one day, he said to himself, I might as well do it tomorrow. So he said, Hareini b'tainus lamachar. But if I inadvertently break my fast tomorrow, so fine, so I'll make it up on a different day. There's nothing specific about tomorrow that made me want to fast tomorrow. So we have this machlokes rishonim. And because we have this machlokes rishonim, comes along the Ramah, and the Ramah says, in that case, in that specific case, where there is no original neder to refer back to, then there's a yesh machmirin that says we should go like the Rishonim who say that Areini b'tainis lamachar makes tomorrow a specific day tainis. No, we should go l'chumra both ways. We should look at it, we should say, maybe it's an unspecified day. Maybe Areini b'tainis lamachar does not make tomorrow a specific day tainis, and therefore, if you broke your fast inadvertently, you have to make it up on a different day. But we're also going to go l'chumra in the other direction. We're not going to treat it as a unspecified day. If we treat it like an unspecified day, then once you broke your tainis, you could eat the rest of the day. And you're just going to make it up on a different day. But we're going to be machmer in both directions. We're going to be machmer to say that when you said Areini b'tainis lamachar, you were making tomorrow a specific day tainis. And therefore, if you accidentally eat, you have to keep on fasting for the rest of the day. But we're also going to be machmer, and we're going to say that maybe we treat it as an unspecified day tainis, and therefore you have to fast another day to make it up. So it's a chumrah in both directions. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. I hope you get it. So again, says the Mishnah here in Ois Ches, Ayin bebeis meir, take a look at the beis meir, Shemasik, where he concludes that the Ramah is speaking the dafka ba'omer hareini b'tainis lamachar, specifically in a case where there was no original neder. All there is a Kabbalah's tainis the day before of hareini b'tainis lamachar. Aval im nodar lehisanois eze yom yuchid. But if there was an original neder, where somebody made a neder to fast on a specific day, v'shachach, and then he forgot v'achal bay, and he ate on that day, in that case, everybody agrees that that's a specific day tainis. Then l'kulei alma tzarich lahashlim tanisai. Then everybody would agree that he has to refrain from eating the rest of the day, even after he inadvertently ate. Ve'ein tzarich lehisanis yom acher. And there's no point in him making it up by fasting another day, because you can't make it up. It was tied to that day. Except for a case where the reason the person was making this fast is because he wanted to get kippur avonos. He wanted to gain forgiveness from the Rebbeinu Shalom for an avera that he did. In that case, you should make it up on another day, even though you can't make it up if you specified a day, but still you owe a tainus to get kapara, and you can't get kapara through this tainus that you broke inadvertently. V'huadin b'tanis chaloyim yortzeit v'choshkein ba'arbat tanesim ha'kavuim oishar tanis tziburim shachach v'achal bay b'vaday m'chuyiv lahashlam ha'tanis. Certainly you have to keep on fasting. Vein tzarich lehisanis yom acher, and there's no point in fasting on another day. You can't make up the fast for a tanis kavua. Em lo yisha kavanas el kapara v'chein isa b'ma'aril shetziv lechad lehisanis acher kach lechapara. Okay. That was very complex. Now we go to Siv Beis. Ha-neder lotzum, and really once we have these concepts, Siv Beis becomes easy. Ha-neder lotzum asar yamim be'eze yom sheyirtze. Somebody made a neder. Again, this is a neder of an unspecified day of tainis. Somebody makes a neder. I'm going to fast 10 days. But he doesn't specify which 10 days. Ha-neder lotzum asar yamim be'eze yom sheyirtze. Whatever days I want. And it's not necessarily 10 days in a row. And now he said, you know what? I still owe 8 tanesim. So you know what? I'll fast tomorrow. Today's Monday. I'll fast tomorrow. Tuesday, Monday afternoon, he makes a Kabbalah's tanis hareini b'tanis lamachar. Now v'hutzrich lidvar mitzvah. Now on Tuesday they're making a siyum in shul, and a person is making a little suda for a siyum. So it's a dvar mitzvah. Or he comes to shul and somebody's making a bris milah, so there's a sudas abris, it's a mitzvah. Or his Rebbe Muvik sees him and says, you know, come over, let's have a coffee together. So now, if he wants to be mechabed his Rebbe invited him over to the house to have breakfast with him. He wants to be mechabed him. If he says he's not going to eat, it's not a covet for his Rebbe. Or maybe he wakes up Tuesday morning and he has a geferlich headache, and he feels like he can't fast. Says the Mechaber. So again, before we even see how the Mechaber rules, let's analyze this case in the face of the concepts that we've learned until now. This person undertook to fast an unspecified day of tainus. He made an original neder. I'm going to fast 10 days, whenever. Now, yesterday, he decided that today is going to be one of those days. And he made a Kabbal's Tainus yesterday, and he said, Arayni b'Tainus l'machar. Now, we learned until now, what would happen if this person inadvertently ate today? Well, if he would inadvertently eat, we would say he broke his fast, he's allowed to eat the rest of the day, and he'll make it up on a different day. Now, that halacha is b'diavad. We're not telling him, go ahead and eat. It's, he inadvertently ate. All right, he inadvertently ate. The fast wasn't tied specifically to this day, so fine, continue eating, and you'll make up the fast on a different day. Now here in Siv Beis, the Mechaber is addressing lechatchila. This person undertook to fast one of those days today, but now suddenly something happened where he has a reason where he wants to break his fast. There's a bris milah. He forgot there's a sudas a bris. What's he going to do? Come to the bris and sit there? Everybody else is eating, and he's going to sit there not eating? People are going to ask him questions. It's going to look funny. He has a question of covered for his Rebbe, or he has a gefer like a headache. He doesn't feel well. So now he's coming to ask a shaila, not b'diavad, lechatchila. He wants to go break his fast. So now, says the Mechaber, Harei zeh loiveh, this person could borrow the fast day. In other words, he owes a fast, and he decided he was going to fast today. You know what? You could go borrow the day. What does that mean, borrow the day? We're going to let you eat, but you're going to have to pay back a different day. Harei zeh loiveh u'parei yom acher. He could go ahead and borrow today's fast. He could eat today, and he'll pay it back on a different day. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Eis cutting tests, L'dvar mitzvah. The reason this person wants to eat is for a dvar mitzvah. What's a dvar mitzvah? Could go in bris milah, sudas bris, I see a mesechta, or somebody's making a siyum. Va'afilu hu eino shayach begava. And it doesn't have to be a bris that he would order, and he's a family member. He would automatically be invited. No, some guy in the shul made a bris. It doesn't have to be a mesechta where the one who's making the siyum would always invite this person. No, I came to shul. Some guy is making a siyum and he's giving out cookies and cake and schnapps and herring. Nevertheless, says the Chavetz Chaim, even though in this case the Mechaber says you could go ahead and you could break your fast, still you have to fast a little bit longer than a normal day. For example, if you're in the habit of eating breakfast 4 hours into the day, you should eat breakfast 5 hours into the day. There are those that say, even if it's not such a dvar mitzvah, you met a friend of yours in the street, and in the morning after shul, and the guy says, oh, you know what, I'm going over to the cafe. Come, let's go eat breakfast together. Nah, I want to go home. No, come on, come eat with me. So that doesn't sound like such a dvar mitzvah. But there are those that say that even for something like that, shari mipnei darkei shalom. This is mutter for darkei shalom. From the Mechaber, when the Mechaber chooses to write the case where you want to eat, you want to break your fast because of the covet of an Adam Gadol, it doesn't sound like the Mechaber would be maskim that you could break your fast just for your friend who's pushing you to come eat with him. You could borrow the day and pay it back. You don't need to be mater neder. After all, yesterday you said Arayni b'Tainus l'machar, and now you're going ahead and you're breaking your fast. That's okay. Over here you're allowed to break the fast and pay it back a different day. Excuse me. But this is why the Chavetz Chaim wrote that you do have to fast a little bit longer than you would on a normal day. Because you did say Harayni b'Tainus l'machar. So we want you to fulfill your word at least a little bit. You said Harayni b'Tainus l'machar, fast a little bit longer today than you normally would. Okay, let's go weiter in the Mechaber, about halfway down. The reason you're allowed to do this is Shaharei loy kava hayomim b'tchilas haneder. The rationale is as we explained. Over here, it's not so critical that you fast on this specific day, because your original neder to fast 10 days at some point, that was not tied to any specific days. So fine. So you have a pressing reason to eat today. You have a bris to go to. So all right, we'll let you go eat by the bris, and you'll fast a different day. Aval, however, says the Mechaber, Let's say there was no original neder. You're not fasting today to be Mekayim a neder that you made a week ago or 6 months ago. There was no original neder. Just just yesterday you made a Kabbalah's Tainus and you said Areini b'Tainus Lamachar. Mikri Tainus zeh ve'ena yachal l'levaisai. See, and this is a concept that we spoke about earlier in the Shir. Over here the Mechaber is being machmir. Over here the Mechaber says, if you had no original neder to refer back to, you just said Hareini b'Tainus Lamachar, then we're going to be machmir. And we're going to say that your Kabbalah's Tainus yesterday by Mincha designates today as a specific day of Tainus. And we're not going to let you get out of the Tainus just for a dvar mitzvah, or because you have a headache, or because somebody's making a siyum. No. Bidi Eved, all you had was an unspecified Hareini b'Tainus Lamachar, and you ate. So, okay, inadvertently you broke your fast, and it wasn't for a specific day. So, all right, we'll let you get away with it. And we'll say you could eat the rest of the day and make up your fast on a different day. But lichatchila, you want to go ahead and break your fast? That you can't do. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Ice cut in your base. Mikri Tainazeh, Ayin Betaz, take a look at the Taj, Shadaita, it's his opinion. The Mitztar Mitanisa Yumisana Mikta Sayoim, if this person is having a very hard time fasting and he fasted part of the day, Yachal Lilvais Filafra Yom Achar Afilu B'Yom Zeh. Then even in this case, where yesterday he said, Areini B'Tainus Lamachar, he could go break his fast and make it up a different day. You could only make it up with a stam Kabbalah's Tainus, v'gam sham dafka kishehisana miktzas hayom v'chanal. Okay. All right, we're going to break over here, and I'll pick up with the Ramah tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for limud HaTorah. The schus of limud HaTorah should be making against Klal Yisrael. The Rabbanim should send Yeshuas, Refuas, and Parnasa to all those in need, and we should be zeicher to see the Bias Girl Tzedek B'mher V'Yameinu. Amen. Be well.